sad day, ladies and gentlemen. Logan Paul, George Janko, beef.
We got beef. No, we don't have beefs. We don't have beef.
You haven't seen recently, George did a podcast with Hey Big Mike. Kinda went in on Logan publicly.
This is a guy who's sending us screenshots of $11 million a week that he's making.
And Logan responded publicly.
It is so crazy that it's almost laughable. That would mean I'm making $572 million a year.
Now, before we get into this, I just want to take you guys back to a simpler time. Picture this. It's 2017. You get home from school, you open up the YouTube app, you see Logan Paul, Mark Dohner, and George Janko just posted. What an amazing time.
I love you guys. Oh, yo, easy, Mark's down, boy, down.
We're best friends. I knew it was about to say.
What the fuck?
We got
This is my boy, yo.
We got beef. No, we don't have beefs. We don't have beef.
I think we all would love to go back to those simpler times, to be honest with you. I know I would. Really fun time in my life. Learned a lot. Had an amazing time out here with my boys. But that's when we were friends. Okay? Then business started to happen. And this is why you do not mix friendships with business. As Logan Paul's former videographer slash roommate slash friend and George Janko's former roommate slash friend, I think I could speak on this. So I've been pretty removed from all this drama for about 3 years now. I haven't really spoken to Logan since the Floyd Mayweather fight. I've spoken to George more recently. We met up for sushi, had a chat. But yeah, you know, it just sucks to see. We used to have such a strong bond, the three of us, and you hate to see the business side of things get in the way of it. And they always say don't go into business with your friends, and this is kind of like a scenario where that holds true. Start with George, and then we'll get to Logan's response.
The Bobby Lee situation.
Who was the first person that jumped off the couch and said, George just left, that was not good, we have to fix the situation?
But did they not cut shit that you should have stood up for me and said, hey, you can't cut that shit? That's gonna make him look like an idiot for leaving.
We have numerous times on the show, which I'm sure a number of shows do, cut things that we believe will protect the integrity or reputation of the guest.
That protected nobody but him.
No, the guest, that's what I'm trying. Well, what about the guy that you break bread with, bro?
So what Mike said's true. Sometimes you'll cut things that the guest says in the moment, and yeah, you don't put it in post, but I understand George's point. He's your friend, and the edit made him look like a complete bitch, and the internet went wild about it.
I've never had a problem with Bobby Lee.
No, he knows
I
that.
had a problem with the way that Logan and you were kind of gassing him to keep doing. He started the episode putting his balls in my face. I let that one go. Then every 2 seconds he kept grabbing my dick.
I don't think...
How would you feel if a man that has his back completely towards you, that only turns around to grab your dick,
right,
talk shit to your face, and you can't smack or beat the living brains off of this guy? Because Logan...
I get that. I mean, that shit would make me uncomfortable. I mean, I get where George is coming from.
It's me apologize to this man, or I don't have a job on Impulsive anymore.
Sounds about right. Something he would say.
But after the episode, you remember when you called me? And I said, Mike, this is all that happens, and you said, verbatim, you said, it's our fault for not telling you this, but me and Logan are really the ones who should be talking to the guest. You are really there for a boys only episode. So while I get sexually harassed, my other co-host is trying to fire me, and you're trying to leverage me to be quiet during other guests. And then on my birthday, you guys shot 3 episodes, so I couldn't show up.
Their podcast format is a little difficult because it is Mike and Logan, and then they've had like a third co-host multiple times. With that many people and one guest, it's really hard to have everyone talking. Like, for example, my recent podcast, I talked to Iggy before. I said, hey, I'm gonna do like an interview, let her speak and chime in when you feel necessary, but this is more so an interview. But it does suck to hear that as like a friend, like, hey, you're just here for the boys only episodes, kind of just sit there and shut up. Why even be there in the first place for the interviews?
Do you know what the last straw for me was? The last straw for me was, Mike, I had to escape. I had to leave for my own fear. When Logan came after me for my religion, the show hit rock bottom and we weren't getting paid. I was getting paid $5,000 a month. I have a mortgage, I have my sister that works for me, I have Belle, I'm trying to get married, I had all these things. So I had to start my own show because we're not making money on the show and I'm getting pushed out of the show.
Well, at the time we were making money. You made money on the show.
But at the time, we're a couple months.
How much money did you make?
I can show you my books. I was spending 10 G's a month being on the show.
Right.
Name me a job that you're a part of that you spend $10,000 to do. Okay, so that's 1. 2. And by the way, let's not forget that for a year and a half, I didn't get paid.
Here comes the friends in business, you know? Yeah, I mean, LA's expensive. $5,000 a month is not enough to sustain a living here. I think I saw something recently that if you make like $150,000 a year in Los Angeles, you're considered lower middle class. So George is getting upset. He's going there. He's not getting paid.
But you did make a sizable amount of money on the show.
And by the way, I'm always grateful. I was always grateful. Yeah, I don't like talking about money, but I was always grateful. Always.
I will say, George is like, I don't like to talk about money. But he's talking about money. He's like, I made $5,000 a month.
I got my show going, and then not only was I controlled and pushed around on Impulsive, but then Logan's making calls and directing my show. And I'm saying, hey man, you can't tell me what to do on my own show. That's not okay.
What's that about?
He told me that I couldn't take Celsius. And then I said, hey,
he didn't tell you that you couldn't take Celsius.
Celsius.
No, he didn't tell you that you couldn't take Celsius. He
said if I take Celsius, I'm not a part of Impulsive.
Then he told you that if you take Celsius, that you cannot continue to be on Impulsive, which is the core driver for Prime, as you're going to continue to funnel viewership from the Impulsive show back to your show, which promotes a competitive product.
I agree with Mike here. I mean, business is business. He runs an energy drink company, and George wants to take a brand deal with another energy drink company. Let's see what else they have to say.
So told you that if you wait 6 months after the deal's done, you're more than welcome to rejoin the show if you need to make money.
But they're always trying to find a way to push me out.
I don't.
You know what he told me?
I think that was
This is
a
a guy
fair.
this is a guy who's sending us screenshots of $11 million a week that he's making. Okay, and on top of that,
So with that sucks. I mean, I used to make $1,000 a month working for Logan. He paid for my rent. Granted, I slept on an air mattress in a closet. Super grateful for it. It's all part of my journey. I wouldn't be where I am today without all that. Had to pay my dues. I remember him telling me one day in the gym, he showed me a screenshot of his Shopify, and he made like $1 million a day for 3 days straight. Super happy for him, but I get what George is saying when George is claiming to not be getting paid. He's making $5,000 a month, and his boss is showing him that he's making $11 million a week in sales. Granted, that's just the sales. He doesn't get all that money. It's like there's levels to this shit. Logan shouldn't be showing him how much money he's making when George is making significantly less. Like, how's that gonna make you feel if your boss is showing you that he made $60 million in a month? Pretty fucking shitty.
when I come over here because I'm scared I'm gonna lose my job here, and then you're saying no.
Not your saying. That's what. Once again,
Let me
please,
just-
bro.
let me just
Please,
finish.
because that's one thing.
Wait, are you saying you?
Yes.
No,
we're
I'm not
saying
saying you.
Also, they shouldn't even be having this conversation without Logan. I don't know, like, majority of the conversation is about Logan, and then Mike has to sit here. He's like, bro, like, you're roping me into this. This should be taken up with Logan, not me. So, like, Mike's in this weird position where he's got to, like, speak on behalf of Logan, but not really.
For a second, please.
Yeah, I mean-
So when I get that call and I tell him, I go, Logan, I get it, bro. And I fully told him, I go, listen, man, like, I will take half the deal that Celsius gives me. Half. If you want to put it on the table for my show, a quarter, work with me. He says, I won't pay you a dime. You're here because of me. And then I said, well, what do you want me to do for my bills, bro? I got no money. And he says, go have your rich dad pay for it.
Sounds like something he would say, to be honest with you. It's such a weird thing. It's like, I don't know how to... Logan said that to me before, like, I'm the reason you're here. Definitely puts himself above everyone. And he is. He is the reason that me and George and Mike became successful. But you can't, like, help someone and then hold it over their head. You don't just help someone to then later hold it over your head. Like, you should help someone out of the kindness of your heart and expect nothing in return. That's not how helping people works. Like, I've helped many people. I've helped Adelia with her career. Ayla, for example, my first viral video, Ayla gained like 100 and something thousand followers on Instagram. I've changed a lot of people's lives, and I don't sit here and I like hold it over their head, you know, and I don't talk about it. It's just like, I did it because I wanted to do it, and they were helping me. We both benefited from it. End of story.
You don't bring up somebody's father.
Would you say
bro.
that the way that you handled it from a word standpoint was mature?
Also, not to like, it's not Logan's position to like help George financially, but if your friend's struggling financially, there are ways you can help them without giving them money, especially with someone like Logan's stature. Like, oh, you're struggling financially? Like, hey, let me help you. Let me be in a few vlogs for you, or let me help you with your YouTube channel. Just like being in his videos will make George make more money. Simple things like that, where it's like, oh, like, yeah, you're on my podcast, you know, I don't know how often, but you're here for me. I'll be there for you as well. And I think that's the disconnect between friendship and business, and the reason that I got out. I sort of realized, like, we aren't friends. Like, I'm here to benefit your business. I'm living your life. And if I want something, like, I'm not gonna get it, you know? Like, there was never, I was afraid to ask Logan, like, hey, can you come over and be in this video? I was afraid, because I knew, I don't know.
The one thing I am a little bit upset about was the text that you sent back to me. That's it.
I told you you're a piece of shit. Everyone knows it.
Yes.
You need to, but dude, I meant every word of it.
That's crazy.
Not very
No,
holy
that's
of you,
crazy.
George.
That's
If you fell out,
insane.
if you
That's
fell
an
out,
insane
if
statement.
you fell
Yeah, I
out,
agree with Mike on that. I love you, George, but like, you preach like your religion and stuff, and then you just said like, you're a piece of shit and everybody knows it, and he means it.
and you started doing scummy moves to your friend, I called you out on it.
But I
bro.
didn't do anything.
Bro,
What did I-
not
what did-
not you, not Caleb, not Kevin, not Dylan. Nobody fucking called me when I got fired.
Here's George acting on emotion. You could tell he's really heated by the change in tone of his voice.
I definitely have text
After I
messages.
called you out.
I'm just saying I tried reaching out to you. And when I did finally reach out to you, regardless of if the timing was right for you, I said something very nice to you. I said, I know things are gonna work out for you. This business and friendship thing is very hard to navigate. You're an incredible fucking human being. I love you and I wish nothing but the best for you. And your response to that really fucking hurt me. I'm here to say that today on the show. It hurt
Your
you.
actions hurt me every day.
See, here's like a thing, like Mike says, hey, what you did hurt me, and there was no like, I'm really sorry, you know, I was emotional and in the moment. He goes back and says, well, you hurt me. That's not how you argue.
Do you think what I went through was fair?
I think it's complex. I think it's complex. I think
crazy, Mike. I think my own enemies what I went through,
bro, I think I'm gonna be honest with you, or I'm gonna be honest with you. I think more than anything, it was a culture fit problem. I think there was a culture fit problem.
I think I brought a different type of
I agree.
to the podcast.
I agree.
And if you go look at the greatest hits on Impulsive, they were all flooded with my comments. And don't think I didn't see you guys take my name.
I understand what Mike's saying here with the culture fit. George is, I mean, he's doing the religion thing on his channel, and Logan and Mike's podcast wasn't really about that, and it was kind of turning into that. So it was kind of like, gotta remember, man, it's called Impulsive. It's Logan's show. What he wants the show to be about is what he wants the show to be about. So when it starts to shift to be about like George and the religion, that's great for George, but it appears that Logan didn't want that, which is fine.
And you guys shadow banned my name. Fans with screenshots shots of them trying to talk about me, and you guys were banned my name.
George did that to me when we had a falling out. He banned my name.
First and foremost, I should not be the one sitting here answering for someone else.
Which I agree with too. Also, regarding the Celsius thing, like George wasn't making enough money to pay his bills. He got an opportunity with Celsius. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, I'm in defense of George on that. Like, he needed money. Celsius came with a contract. He needed to take that contract.
I'm talking about you.
No. My goal today is to not be grouped in.
You're tired of being grouped in.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't mean to do that.
on everything, because
Also, yeah, Mike's grouped in. Mike is going to defend Logan. Mike understands that it's business, so he doesn't let his emotions get in the way. The difference between like Mike, for example, and me and George, we were kind of friends first. Like, we were just a bunch of buddies making videos. Mike came in to do business. He came in to be on the podcast, to be in the vlogs. So it was business first with Mike and Logan, but it was more so friendship first with me, George, and Logan. So that's why, like, and I told this to George before he went on Impulsive, or when, like, back when Logan and me and George were hanging out more, and him and Logan weren't really talking, and I kind of gave up on the friendship with Logan. I was like, dude, like, you have to understand, like, this isn't a friendship. This is business. Like, Logan isn't our friend anymore. Like, and that's great. Logan has the dream of being, like, the biggest entertainer in the world. That's all he cares about. So it's like, yeah, like I said, you are a part of his life or you aren't. He's not a part of your life. And I tried to tell this to George many years ago when I made the realization, but George would not give up on the friendship, which, I mean, George is a really good friend, but he will cut you off if you wrong him.
By the way, so is Logan. He would admit that if he could have that conversation again, it would go completely different. You know that, bro. He didn't go into that with some sort of intent to harm. He clearly got carried away, was not seeing your side of the discussion, and it turned into a clusterfuck.
I just don't. Not like I don't believe it, bro. It's just patterns. So you got to see the patterns. We'll use you as an example, bro. Like, I saw you go through hell over and over again. And guess what? It keeps happening. And it's the same thing that they put you through. I'm not going to mention what they put you through. But I watch, and I would pull you aside and be like, bro, that's fucked. Like, you shouldn't be talked to like that or acted like that. So for you to sit there and be like, oh, I know what you're going through. And
like I said, I mean, Mike knows that it's business, so he's going to take it. Like, what's he going to do without him? You know, he's got bills to pay. He's got a house. So the hard thing about like social media and content creation employees, there's no HR. So like things happen in entertainment that you can't really get in trouble for. Like, I'm sure stuff went down behind the scenes, stuff did with us where it's like, dude, if I was in a normal professional job and this shit happened, like there would be consequences. But in this world, there's no like HR department.
I think that's going to come back at you when the day that you finally snap. You're like, oh, I'm done with this shit. And then you're going to see it for what it is. Because
I don't think Mike's going to snap. I think more so my prediction, what's going to happen is Logan will get married, move in with his wife, and kind of do his own thing completely, and then Mike will be left.
Because I already see, that's the thing, I already see it for what it is, so I don't...
That's what I just said. He sees it as it's business, dude. Like, he sees it for what it is. He knows.
I don't have the same type of reaction to things happening. I don't sit there and think to myself like I'm sitting in some perfect world scenario. This is showbiz, bro. Yeah. It's a fucked up,
you're right.
terrible place.
Kind of like what I just said, and yeah, George just said he's emotional. And this is what I said. Mike knows it's business. George thinks it's friendship.
I guess what I have to say is I'm sorry for grouping you in, and I'm sorry that I wasn't man enough to just sit you down and express how I'm expressing now. But now I have confidence. Now I can stand on my own show. I have my own fight.
Yeah, it's good to see him apologize.
And I am, bro. I'm really sorry for that text message that I sent you.
But you just said that you still believe it.
I believe you did evil work on me, bro. And
what do you think I was doing? I had a pin doll at the house with your big ass fuzzy head on, and I was popping pins in your
stomach.
stomach.
This is the learning lesson that I learned.
What did I do?
I thought that if somebody does something wrong to me, that it was intentional. Because
But I still haven't even found out or understood.
Basically, this is fucking dragging on. I don't know how people watch podcasts. I'm already bored. Let's go to Logan's response, which I never thought I would see. Honestly, dope for George that Logan responded. This only helps. This is all business, man. I didn't think Logan would respond. I thought he would just like leave it be, but let's see what he had to say.
I had to start my own show because we're not making money on the show, and I'm getting
I made money on the show.
First and foremost, can we just appreciate the fact that Logan blurred the Celsius in the back? This guy.
I was spending 10 G's a month being on the show.
All right, let's talk about this. Obviously, I wasn't on the podcast to represent myself, so I'd like to clarify a few things that were said. As well as having his own credit card, all expenses related to the show were paid for, including all travel and lodging. Obviously, George's total reimbursement came out to $20,000, $317.
If he had a card, then why did he spend $20,000 of his own money?
I'd love to see any books that show otherwise. Spending $120,000 a year to be on a show is a little confusing.
This is a guy who's sending us screenshots of $11 million a week that he's making.
This statement is so crazy that it's almost laughable. That would mean I'm making $572 million a year. I'm nowhere near that. What happened was Prime had a very successful month. I think we did like 60 to 70 million, and I sent it to our group chat. I was proud of the business. I was stoked to show the boys, and I think George maybe misinterpreted that as like my personal.
I get what Logan's saying, but like I said earlier, there's levels to this shit, bro. Bragging to your friends that you did $50 million in a month and your friend's making 100 grand a year, it's like, it kind of hurts.
The show hit rock bottom, and we weren't getting paid. I was getting paid $5,000 a month.
But you did make a sizable amount of money on the show.
And by the way, I'm always grateful. I was always grateful.
like that?
Yeah, I don't like talking about money.
I know he doesn't want to talk money. I know he bleeped it out, but George made $317,000.
That's a lot of money. I mean, I made $1,000 a month working for Logan, so I would be happy with $317,000. It appears that he didn't get paid for a little bit or something. I'm not really sure, but Logan's very good at these responses, so I see what he's trying to do here. Like, dude, he's trying to show like George made $300,000 and people are out here making $40,000. They're gonna see this video. They're gonna be like, George is complaining about making $317,000. Like, what? He's a smart kid.
In the 15 months that he got paid for on Impulsive. The work requirements consisted of about 3 days a month, 3 hours each day, traveling the world, networking, and meeting some of the coolest people ever. It comes out to about $2,300.
$2,300 per hour. I mean, it's not right, but also, who the fuck edited this? They put pounds. 3 days a month, 3 hours a day, travel I mean, 3 hours a day. I mean, traveling in itself, I mean, it's a burden. Like, I don't know. You're traveling to fucking Puerto Rico from LA. That's a 7-hour flight. So it's not just 3 hours. Like, you gotta fucking pack, go to the airport, fly there, do the thing, fly back.
It comes out to about $2,300 per hour, and he also had 10% equity of the entire show.
10% equity. That's pretty dope.
Not you, not Caleb.
But if he had 10% equity, that would mean Logan made, what, $3 million in 15 months off the show? Which I think he probably made more.
Not Kevin, not Dylan. Nobody fucking called me when I got fired.
George did not get fired. He quit. I'll touch on that in a second. But after he quit, I called him frequently. I reached out. I wanted to reconcile the friendship. I invited him to my birthday party in WrestleMania and even my ranch a few weeks later.
Damn, George not responding.
He chose not to come. He also unfollowed all the people he mentioned on Instagram, which is maybe why they didn't call him. I don't know.
Yeah, George unfollowed me, I'm pretty sure, and muted me when we got in our falling out. I remember I was like, yeah, he muted me or something. Took my name out of his description of his YouTube video and blocked my name.
Leaving the kid. I still did. There's a lot more. I'm not going to get into it, but this isn't to say, by the way, that I didn't fuck up along the way. I did. I should not have mocked his beliefs. I apologize for that. I should have stuck up for him with Bobby Lee, and I definitely should have had his back more like a friend. There's a lot of things I would have done differently, but here we are. It saddens me that our story has unfolded this way. I wish him nothing but health, wealth, happiness, all the success that he wants. I hope that one day we can sit down and have a relationship and a conversation.
So Logan's really good at these videos. Obviously goes on attack mode, like, hey George, this, and this you said is false, false, false. Here's receipts. I mean, he kind of just brushes over his accountability, like, yeah, was I perfect? No, I fucked up in these situations, but he doesn't really address like specific things that George comments about. Like, notice how he doesn't talk about like, go have your rich dad pay for stuff, like stuff like that. Be honest, it's just, it's really sad that we used to have a really, really good friendship, the three of us. I kind of saw this for what it was really early on, so that's why I've been removed from it. I understand why George went on Impulsive. He needed to do what was best for him. And yeah, like Logan said, I should be more of a friend. I think he definitely needs to work on that aspect of his life, but I know, Mike knows, that's what comes with Logan Paul. You know, it's business, it's work. Do you want to be a part of it or do you not? I chose not to be. Mike is choosing to be, and now George has had enough and he's done with it. Will Mike ever? I don't know. But I will say, times were good in 2017 when it was just Mark, George, and Logan. And then Mike steps into the picture and all hell breaks loose. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I think it's really sad to see this come to this. Like, I wish we could all just be friends again, like the old days, and squash everything, but I still got love for both those guys. Logan opened the door for me and all my opportunities to get to where I am today, so I'm forever grateful for that. And George Janko, I mean, he's been an amazing friend, and he's also helped me on the business side of things. The kid is hilarious. He's really good at what he does. He's really good at coming up with ideas. He's helped me tremendously in my rise to fame, if that's what you want to call it. You know, like, my side of it, I don't know. I just wanted to like live my life. And I've explained this in podcasts before. When you're involved with Logan and his business, you're not really living your life. It's not really a friendship. It is work, and it is work for him. There's no work for you when you're involved. That's just what it is. I mean, it's he's at the top of the food chain, and you live his life. I got out of it. I tried to tell George this many years ago, but George, like I said, he's a good friend, always will be a good friend, very loyal, and he didn't want to believe it, but now here we are. He's kind of realized, all right, business got in the way of friendship. Was he treated poorly? Absolutely. I'm sure he was. You know, we've all been through it, but it's just really sad to see this unfold publicly. You know, me and George, we kept our falling out off the internet. My breakups, I always try to shed light on positivity and be thankful and be grateful for the relationships I've built and the opportunities that I've had. I think positivity leads. I made like a little montage of our friendship and threw it up on TikTok, and people loved it, man. They missed those days, and I miss those days too. And I'll always continue to lead with positivity. And I hope that one day we can all just like look back and laugh at this and become friends again, but who knows if that'll ever happen. I can relate more so to George because I've been in his position, but I do understand some of the points that Logan's saying. I miss those guys, man. 2017 was such a fun time living at 1600 Vine. You know, we'd wake up, we'd make skits, we'd have a blast, we'd go to the movies across the street, we'd go get Veggie Grill, we'd walk to get Gaines Bowls, we'd do all these fun things together outside of work, and then I think work just took over. You know, Logan says he wants to be the biggest entertainer in the world, and nothing's gonna stop that from happening to him. So you either want to be a part of it or you don't. And I think George kind of reached his boiling point and was like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And George has gone on to be very successful with his podcast, and I'm super proud of him because I know he was trying to find his lane for a little bit, and it's really awesome to see him take off and really work hard. And I think he needed this from Logan, honestly. The push, it's like a breakup, man. After a breakup, you're super motivated. This is a similar thing. And this is kind of the reason that I got successful. Me and Logan had a falling out, and I had a bone to pick. I had something to prove, and I think George is the same way. He has something to prove. He's working his ass off. He's accomplishing a lot, and I'm super proud of him. I'm super proud of them both, man. Like, it just sucks that the friendships have dwindled because I really think we had an amazing trio, but that's part of adulthood and maturing. Friendships fall apart, and all you can do is be thankful for them and look back, and I think you can learn a lot from your friends and the relationships you've had. But yeah, I just wanted to say, man, I miss you both. I hope you guys can figure it out. I hope the three of us can figure it out because, yeah, we had a really good friendship. I'm super grateful for those times that we had together.